we saw a need to come in because a lot of these venues already used us from an event management side of things to provide an extension application that would hopefully handle a lot of these processes and create some efficiencies across the board. So we began discussing this product with a few of our clients in the Australian market, especially a couple of years ago, because the feedback that we were getting from them is that we need a much better way to not only increase the premium experience for our suite holders, but we also need to create some efficiencies for the venue itself and get the necessary outputs that we need for our hospitality and catering staff so that they can more efficiently do their jobs. For example, in Melbourne Olympic Parks, who host the Australian Open every year, they manage 3 arenas and 1 stadium on a single campus. They have 4 people and they have 7 sporting tenants. So trying to manage that available suite inventory across the 7 sporting tenants, along with their individual concert events and one-off sporting events for 4 people was really just not scalable. And they have 2 separate caterers. So one caterer manages the arenas, and then they have a separate caterer that manages an individual stadium. And so we went into this knowing that we were going to need to build it in a flexible enough manner to where not only are you going to need the ability to change menus on an event by event basis, but you're going to need to change menus on a performance by performance basis. And so we partnered with them. We kind of developed broad requirements of what we wanted to build, looking at different tendencies that we might see out there. And what resulted from that was our suite management extension application, which handles not only kind of a dedicated inventory system that allows them to easily track long and short-term suite inventory. It allows them to do invoicing directly against those records. But then for the front end, it was really providing that great experience for the end user. And it's a web-based app, but it's built to be responsive, and primarily our testing all occurs on Apple and Android devices. So as the admin is sitting at their desk or as they're going from meeting to meeting, they're able to access the application on any type of device and be able to perform any tasks that they need to within the application. And on an event by event basis, the 3 major things that it allows the suite owner to do, one was to handle all pregame ordering. So it provides a streamlined way for them to place all of their catering orders. It's going to make things much more efficient. It's going to push so many more of your orders pregame to where your staff doesn't have to spend time over the phone or processing through an email to take care of those orders and enter them in and then communicate back and forth with the end users. The second piece is the attendee management. So if I'm a suite owner, typically I'm usually the admin, and I'm getting calls left and right from executives and sales staff saying invite this person, invite that person. It can become quite confusing. So that was another major key point that we were able to check off. And then the last one was the ticket management. The suite owner can come in and say that I automatically want to distribute my digital tickets to all of my attending guests, or I can even schedule it to say it's going to be 3 days out prior to the event. And at that point, it's going to kick off the API calls to whomever the provider is, and it's going to send those out. A lot of the content, the data ultimately flows from Ungerbach. And so in that regard, it is somewhat hard-coded in a way. But we do recognize that there are a lot of other functionalities that exist outside of us. And so it's not difficult to then add on additional providers, assuming that the corresponding API endpoints are there. We've really expanded on our API capabilities and our integration capabilities the last few years, knowing that it's not going to be a one-size-fits-all that we're going to be able to fill. It's really going to change quite a bit. So a lot of it is just analyzing it on a case-by-case basis and seeing what makes the most sense for all parties involved, the venue, the caterer, the ticketing provider, and being able to accommodate it through that single solution. We built suite management with the intent of needing to solve the case of how do I quickly adjust my menu, my pricing for this event, for this performance, so that I can then continue on and focus on something else. Something that may have taken days in the past now takes a matter of minutes.